now live. Hello, we're telling your followers that you've started a live video. Oh, hello, Comedy Women in Print. Here we still are. I am so looking forward to... hello, Sadia. I'm learning how to kind of respond to all the lovely people that are getting slightly more experienced at this. I cannot wait for the author. Hello, Alex. Georgina, I'm just saying the names now because Lindsey Kelk is our author due Wednesday, and she lives in another continent. So I can't wait to know what time. Should have checked what time. Waving. This anyway. I'm holding this book up until Lindsey joins us, and it's called In Case You Missed It. And she's here. She screeched. I'm getting so hysterical. Right, go live. I'm so excited. Already people are flooding in, waiting, connecting, and here she is.
Hello.
How are you?
Hi, I am well. How are you?
You've got the very smart white things in your ear.
I have. They fail me. They're fine. I feel like I am the worst person in the world because I forget to charge them, and I'm not clever. But it's fine.
You are clever. Can I just refute that? Let's have an argument now. I absolutely adore this book. There's so many things I've got to ask you. I've got that really exciting thing where I've nearly got to the end. Then I cheated just before we met.
Excellent. Fair.
And then I had a tingle, and I'm just saying I had a tingle at like one of the last pages, and then I noticed that one of your reviews, I am doing a bit fangirly stuff, it says this is a review, swoops you and fills your heart with such joy, and then the other one was, this is one of those rare books that practically reads itself. And just I don't know how you did this, because I haven't read, I know the world has read your books, but I'm reading this and I've fallen in love with it. And I need to ask you questions. So first of all, you don't live in the UK.
No, I am in America for my sins. That's where I am.
Yeah. So okay, I just, because you've got a kind of very successful career and you only seem to be about 20. You've done
I am 40 in 6 weeks, and I am telling everyone that will listen because I want presents. But also, just like I have to be 40, and I hate it, so everyone has to know.
40 is fine. 40,
I've heard that now.
You are in your prime. Trust me. 40 is when you're really powerful. And in fact, Ms. Fade said such a lovely read. I agree with that.
No.
And actually, on one of the pages, we're talking about age. Because Roz, the character, has got this amazing group of friends, which is a lovely, heart of the book. You like her friends. There was a conversation about her wanting to be 28. So Roz felt that being 28 was the ideal age. Was that something from you as well?
My ideal age would be 32, because I had an amazing 32, which I think is, your perfect age is when you had your best, when you really feel like you became yourself, I feel like, and maybe that changes as we go on. But for Roz, I do think 28 was like the first year that I felt like I knew who I was.
Yes, I understand
absolutely.
That.
I didn't feel like I was being condescended to as much. Like people start to take you seriously.
You had stuff behind you then, because I mean, you seem to be doing. You've been right. You started out as a children's editor, was that right?
Yes. Yeah.
And that's kind of like, whenever you meet a children's editor person, we're talking about stereotypes, I always think they'll be really cute and nice and wear cardigans and be really sort of just really nice playing on the
floor. You think that.
But look at you now. So you started, but then got to do this story. When you started writing, you didn't have an agent, because all the writers who listen to this, and everybody wants to know how to land, not to how to write even, but how to get that recognition, how to kind of be valued. So this story, what happens, you go and find an agent, the agent disliked the book that you'd written, and she had a problem with your name. Could we just hear about that, please?
She had she had many problems with me. It seemed like The
Agents are
book
hard.
was, I know, man.
Yeah.
The book was I Heart New York, which was my first novel that did actually come out. And she did not like it. She did not enjoy it, and that's her prerogative. That's entirely fine.
Oh, it's a bit mean, though.
It's a bit mean,
I don't
and
like her already.
she was
Yes.
proven wrong. So that's
Yes.
pleasing for me because I'm like,
Yes.
it did okay.
Yes.
So
And
that was that
your
book.
agent when you were writing that book?
No, I sent the whole thing out on submission. That was just my first. So I'd just written it for the sake of writing it. And then I sent it to her and she read it and asked me to come in and meet her and then proceeded to tell me everything that was wrong with it, which was many things, which is fine. That's her job.
Well,
But she was very brutal.
yeah.
And then she told me I would have to change my name because my name sounded like a cat being sick.
Yeah. Can we just relive that? Because I love these things. I love these moments in life. I love triumph. I like karma.
Yeah.
So let's just say Lindsey Kelk. How does that sound like a cat being sick? I'm not feeling it.
No, I've got 2 cats and they
Right.
are occasionally sick, as
This is
cats are
normal.
wont to be. And like it honestly just sounds like a human being sick, but it's a cat.
How did you part company with this agent? I can't wait to talk about your book, but I do like the other parameters about writing.
No, I had absolutely no self-esteem, and I thought it was incredible that this legend in the industry would even deign to meet with me, and that obviously everything she said was correct, and I was terrible, and this book was awful, and I should be ashamed to exist, and that she was the one. Yeah, and then time went by.
Why would you be invited in to somebody's office, probably with a Persian carpet, and
absolutely at least 2
books facing out, strategically placed. But why would you be invited to do that? Just logical question here. If the person was challenging you slightly, didn't see your huge potential and your amazing gift, which I've done, not even having read the whole book.
That is very kind of you. She said that she thought I had writing talent, but that the book was, to quote her directly, shit. Which she had written across the front of it in big red letters.
No. Do you think she was just having a bad day? Did the person?
I hope so. Because now in hindsight, like I was 26, so this was 14 years ago. Yeah. And now as an adult woman, which I feel like I wasn't at 26, now I'm just like, I really want to be like, were you okay? Are you like a happy person? Are you all right?
That's always a really good question. When you go, is that person? I mean, none of us can be happy all the time.
No.
But it is quite interesting to go behind that, and unless the motive was she really saw your potential and she felt this was the way that she was going to bring a sort of marketability. So
she could be a tough love person. Maybe she's like a super tough love person, because that's the thing with an agent. They only make money if you make money. So it's not in their best interest to try and harm that.
And also,
it's just
interest.
We're in a different place.
You're right. I keep because I just love everything you say, because I understand it. And of course, an agent will lose interest if they're not going to make money, because that is their job. And I want to be friends with everyone. Do you? Because being friendly, you become better.
I think so.
I bet you wouldn't perform well if you're writing, if you are writing with the thought of a teacher marking it with a red pen. And you're so funny. And
that's exactly how I feel. That's every time I get editor's notes back, I always say that to my friends. I'm like, it's like getting your homework back, covered in red pen. And even if you've done the best job, it's like they've told you've done a bad job. And I'm like, I just want everyone to like me. I try so hard.
But that's why you're funny. There is that kind of funny start that because the narrative voice, it's all about narrative voice, is so real. Okay, so on this, I have to ask you some questions. There's so many questions.
Yes.
So with this fantastic book, in case you missed it, hasn't been out very long, this one, has it?
No, it's been out 4 weeks, I think.
Okay, so I'm not going to give anything away, but what I find amazing about this is you're very. Am I allowed to say this and stop me, because I don't want to? Because people are obviously.
No, it's fine. You can chat away.
Well, what I feel is so clever about this is your very, very early premise, plot point, and from that,
all the story just revolves. I mean, I know, you know, not so much inciting incident, is it? The thing about the phone, are we allowed to talk about?
I think we can
say
talk about that. I feel like
about
that's vaguely mentioned on the book. So yes,
is
there
it?
is like I think so. I don't know.
Probably.
There's a
I just read
plot
the book.
MacGuffin, where she Roz comes back to England having worked away for a few years, and she has to get a new phone. And it happens very early on in the book. She sends a group text out to all of her contacts to say, "This is my new number, like get in touch." And should you ever send a group text to all of your contacts? No,
I wouldn't even,
but she does.
Struggle with the text to one person currently. But what's amazing is from that you've then got the multi-layered of the plot, because then that takes you into the place of work. So what I love is you obviously know in one of your many hats that awful talk to.
Hello, yay the internet.
So here's the thing. So you go into this dungeon of some kind of modern building where they fist pump. Your knowledge of that world, can you just describe that job?
So Roz takes a job working for a podcast company or network, which is dead modern. And I do have some experience. I have a couple of podcasts. I work on a couple of podcasts as well as write.
There's nothing you can do.
Well,
it's a beauty
clean.
podcast.
There's a beauty podcast and a professional wrestling podcast.
My
interests are wide and varied.
Told me about the wrestling, and
I love wrestling.
It's a wonderful, and you said that with love, which I respect. And so do you wrestle yourself? Because we just have to.
I do not wrestle myself. I don't, and I think, you know, in another life, maybe.
Yeah.
But I like my knees and my hips where they are. Like I like them attached. So I'm going to pass.
Another question about wrestling. It's a slightly tangential but arresting subject. Do you like the drama of it? What do you like about it? The fight, the conquering,
not
the drama? Oh, you've frozen. Oh, come back.
Sorry, that was very rude. The fighting is and it was potential spam. No, the fighting is all predetermined, and I appreciate that. So it's not choreographed, but they know what they're going to do, and that's how I prefer my fighting. What I love about it is the soap opera and the passion of the people involved. I've been lucky enough to interview a bunch of them, and I've written about it as well as do the podcast. So you get quite deep into it, and it's just one of those very intense subcultures where everyone that's involved in it from a professional standpoint loves it. Like the performance of it, the passion for it is intense, because it's so bad for your body. It's so bad for your body. Yeah. It's so unhealthy. They get hurt, they get injured. Then like in the past, they do pull hair. You're not supposed to, but they do. But it's just that you have to really want to do it. The financial gain is not necessarily that good. You're not very well looked after.
Is there hatred between the women?
There has been in the past. I think it's much better these days. Women's wrestling has come on leaps and bounds the last few years, and it's actually now super well respected. Incredible athletes, women of all shapes, sizes, every kind of body.
Do you have to join a different group like heavyweight, middleweight, and lightweight?
No, because it's not real. Like, thankfully, it's this is why I like it, because it's not real. So you can have Nia Jax, who is like 250 or something pounds, fighting Becky Lynch, who's 140 pounds, and Becky will win because she's a better wrestler. But
Mel B said, Lindsay, have you seen Fighting with My Family?
I have seen Fighting with My Family. I loved it. Yeah, I've interviewed Paige, who that movie was about, a few times. A fantastic Brit achieving greatness. And it's great.
You're an extraordinary person and have written so many books that have done so well. So clearly I love the fact you shared that trauma, because we all have traumas. I had a trauma today, actually, on a social media situation. So and it's all about recovery. Yes, it was, well, I'll tell you afterwards, but it's like I'm the kind of person that doesn't knowingly invite conflict. I do comedy and charity. You do comedy, writing, podcasts, wrestling. You know, we have the things we love.
Yeah.
But that's probably quite simplistic because the world is more complex. So so we've established a huge knowledge of the infrastructure of wrestling and how that relates to drama,
and podcasting.
Predetermined, you're saying. So there's an overlap with storytelling.
There's a storyline, there's soap opera, and that's what I love about it. Is people laugh because it's fake, but the storytelling and the long-term storytelling. No, but it is, and it is funny. It's like you have to find the different things in it, and if it's not for you, it's not for you, and that's totally legit.
Somebody saying you really are extraordinary, Lindsay. I agree with Coco.
Thank you. That's very kind, Coco.
But it's about being genuine. You know, you have your genuine passions because you.
Yeah, I mean, I do love it.
Are you? So how did you get the knowledge
Yes.
in this this world where they fist pump and it's an influencer, isn't it?
Yes, Roz is making a podcast for a very young esports gamer / influencer.
Love the words already.
Yes, his name is Snazzlechuff.
Yeah.
Snaz for short, Snaz. And he is a 14-year-old gamer who is a millionaire from winning Fortnite tournaments. He has to wear a mask at all times. Yes, that's part of his character. He likes to wear animal heads.
And so going back to your clever pivotal originator of a plot point, Roz ends up in that job also because of that phone thing. So that's quite interesting in terms of writing, that you do one simple thing and yet it takes you plausibly. So the person obviously, so she got that job, and you're very cynical about that. Okay, so we're told about that world, which with irony. I love your irony is full on. Thank the Lord, my favorite thing. But then, okay, she comes back. The parents. Can we just talk about where the parents are at in their life, because that's like woo.
The parents were a decision that sort of evolved throughout the drafting of the book, because Roz's parents are older. Obviously, she is in her mid-30s. They are in their early 60s, and they are having a renaissance of their love affair. They have an empty nest for the first time. Their youngest daughter's just gone off to university, and they are rediscovering their love for each other, which is a really nice way of putting it.
Someone sending you love from Brazil. Love back, even though the love was for you.
I know. Let's all go to Brazil.
That is so unpalatable. I will do one quick one there. On a caravanning holiday, when my sister and I were teenagers, our parents, we're all in the same caravan. We heard our parents sonog over the Formica table that. Now you go so much further. Roz, I don't know how Roz deals with it. She comes back without spoiling the thing.
Yeah.
When
there
she
is
comes
an incident
back from a date or somewhere.
There's an incident. She comes home and lets herself into the house, and she walks in on them in a situation, which I feel like I would not recover from. I think she does. I think she actually does very well, but she's distracted. She's very heavily distracted. She's just received a text from her ex.
Yeah.
So her mind is very much somewhere else when she walks in on this scene.
There's so much in this book. It's kind of again like a parable, because her friend Adrian says everyone should have a Patrick or something. So Patrick,
everyone has a Patrick.
Without giving it away. So explain that so that we.
Patrick is the one that got away. Patrick is the person she was dating a few years back when she got offered the job in the States, which is why she left the UK, and she was so smitten. She was the guy that you meet when you're in your mid-late 20s, whatever, and it's like, he is the one. And everyone's had that guy where it's like, if he wants me, then it's all gonna make sense. And he is the best thing ever. And the friends aren't quite sure about him, but he's attractive and he's clever. Yes, because the friends are like, we know you like him, but let's see how this plays out. And he's just all the best and worst things, because he's really clever. I'm
interjecting. Abigail Mann, who is.
I have her book right here. I have it at the side of me. It's right here.
We love her. She said, "I'm so on board." I love the way all the younger people speak. I'm so on board with this book. So am I, Abigail. I've nearly finished it, and I'm touched. So where were we? Go with your.
Yeah, we're just on Patrick. Like, why he's so toxic, because he's not just a fitty that like she just really fancies him. He's really, really smart, and he's really, really well read, and he's really intelligent, and he's really well traveled, and he's just like this perfect man that's achieved amazing things.
So what is it about him, his trait that he's got, that what is it about him that perhaps is a warning for all of it? What is it?
So I think the biggest problem with Patrick is Roz wants Patrick to want her more than she really actually wants Patrick. And I think he encourages that. I think he wants to be wanted, and he wants to have the power. And I think the thing he likes about her is she makes him feel like all the things that she thinks he is. So she makes him feel like he's smart and intelligent and brilliant.
Yeah. But what about her feelings? So go back. So
her feelings do not matter. Her feelings are irrelevant to Patrick.
Is it? I want this to be a lesson to us all with those kind of painful, as you correctly say, in your 20s. Oh my God, you just do anything, you just faint if the person look. I mean, been there. Actually, I bought my person a car battery. He still owes me for that car battery. That's how much I like it. But so what is the dynamic again for us to watch out for? So he's a bit of a narcissist.
He's a lot of a narcissist. Yes, he is 100% a narcissist.
So what about, she's this intelligent, amazing, witty, loved heroine. So why is such a person with him?
I think the loved part is where it's difficult for Roz, because I think even though she has these incredible friends, her parents, when she was growing up, her dad wasn't around that much. They talk a little bit about how he was away a lot. He wasn't really very present. And that's why it's so important for her mum now that they're having this reconnection, which is so wonderful. And it's great to see that. Like, I loved that they were having that moment together. But I think that was something that Roz didn't see when she was younger, and maybe she didn't know what to look for. And then suddenly this man who she thought was incredibly special was, you know, acting loving towards her, and he was treating her like she was special. So she put all of her eggs in the Patrick basket. And I think you just have to watch out for personal experience. The Patrick situation was 100% taken from my personal experience. It's like very happy to talk about that.
Well,
like,
oh my God, but it's so interesting. But do you find, segueing for a moment, and we must come back to this because I need to have closure on it because it's so helpful for all of us, is that have you found that when you put real experiences into your novels, of which you've clearly written many, I lost one novel, I lost a friend because the friend identified, and I didn't, it was, if there was anything, it was with love, not criticism. But so how do you handle that? Do people see themselves in your books?
They do. I think what tends to happen with mine is this is going to keep happening. What happens, I don't always know that I've done it, and then my friends will read it back and say, you know, that's X, and I'll be like, oh my God, it really is. With this one, it was more conscious. And I'm strangely enough not really talking to my Patrick anymore. So you know, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? Nothing.
The authenticity in that, and the fact that we can all relate to the layering of, you know, why are we with someone, and what do they? How does it serve us? I think that is amazing in the Patrick, because I haven't got to the bit where one comes, the reader knows, you're allowing the reader in, but Roz doesn't know, which is so clever. I haven't got to the delicious bit, except that I cut to the back. That's when I got the goose pimples, so I can't spoil it for people. But it is it's quite a narrow line, do you find, when you're painting the character, that we need to know who he is. We do. He's got to be multi. He can't just be sort of linear character. So he's clever. I mean, I feel a bit sorry for him.
Me too. Yeah, absolutely. I think Patrick is at his heart a really lonely person. I think he has created this persona that she bought into fully. But I don't know how honest that is. I don't know how much that is. He needs someone to treat him the way he needs Roz to treat him. Like, he shouldn't need that. Like, I want Patrick to love himself and be able to feel comfortable, but he obviously doesn't. It's so much show. Like, and I do think he needs people to love him. He needs people to back up his narcissism.
Well, we all need loving, but I suppose when it's portrayed in the way you portrayed it, the reader I knew. You go, to start with, you go, oh, you're gorgeous. And then, but the warning is from the friends. but the sex is good.
The sex is good. And that's not an ideal situation because she hasn't had sex in a while. And now there's good sex on the table. So, that's a difficult situation.
I think you do the sex really, really well.
Oh, thank you.
It's so strong. It's almost sort of isolated, strong sex. Do we know, because I don't know, why she came back from America?
We do find out, yes. That we are told why, yeah.
Is this a bit similar? It's a bit similar to your life, though, these characters. Because tell us a bit more about, after the exchange with the agent, hopefully you picked yourself up off the floor.
I did. It took a while. I worked with her, or at least looked at what I could do for a few months, and then eventually decided, and I'm so glad that I did, and I don't know where I found that, but I decided that I really believed in and loved that book, and that I wanted to go with it. And I emailed her and said, I just really feel strongly that I don't want to make the changes that you recommended, and I'm going to try. And she's like, well, good luck to you. So we parted ways.
That's
and
important though, Lindsay. That is a really important thing for everyone, because we have to understand the kind of market forces and agents and knowledge and all this. But if it isn't right, and if you're not going to flourish, and at 26 you knew that, that is brave and important, because otherwise
it's weird. I've heard it a couple of times. What she wanted me to do was Devil Wears Prada had not been long out, and she was very like, we could make this very Devil Wears Prada, so that's what we need to do. And I went away thinking, oh, she knows what she's talking about, I'll go away and look at it and do that. And then I was like, but Devil Wears Prada already exists.
Exactly.
And I've had that conversation so many times with people since. I talked to a TV producer one time about projects that we could work together on. And she was just like, oh, you know what's doing very well? It's that show where it's split. I can't remember what it's called because I'm useless. But that show where it's Milo Ventimiglia and Mandy Moore, and their life is shown in different time segments, and it cuts away.
Viewers,
they'll know, and I've just forgotten.
Oh, anyone who knows, can they type in? Because
and it's so I'm like, but that exists, and it's a Dan Fogelman show, and it's great. But I'm like, this life, or no, it's not this life, but it's life something.
Okay.
You know what everyone knows. Everyone's like, we know.
Is that the one where they're all lawyers or something?
No, this life. No, it's not. And that is This Life. But what I'm talking about is this American program where a crock pot killed Milo Ventimiglia. That's all I know about it. Okay. But I'm like, that show is already a blockbuster. So, and you're just telling me to go away and write a knockoff, and that to me won't work, because if you're trying to be something else, you can't do it.
Somebody has just said thank you to our competition winner, Melanie B, suggesting Lindsay. Yes, Lindsay, you are my favorite guest. Actually, we could talk forever about triumphs and slights and layering. She is
thank you, Melanie.
Lucky us. Where were we? The brain as well gone.
Tell me about it. I lockdown brain. I don't know. We were talking about, it's just too hard. Talking about being authentic, I think, and trusting your gut, and
because why would you
believing yourself?
Why would you replicate a format that is already successful? But this just gives so much. Mel B says you're welcome. We're thrilled to do. But by carrying on doing your own voice, it has proven. I mean, that's why I'm sort of labouring that point. But just for other people to take heart from that we all know. I mean, we can't help that there are influences, that nobody has a monopoly on zeitgeist and ideas, but we have to write our own book.
And I think that's so true. I think if you're trying to write to a trend, or you're trying to write to fit into something else, it will bleed out of what you're doing, and
it will show. And why do those agents want you? In a way, it's like not embracing what you have, your tools. It's saying, no thanks, you can write clearly, but could you be like one of those? It's really, they should be more empowering, really. You do your wrestling, you do your pods, you go to do you go to all the book literary festivals? I could talk to you about that.
I do
you
when
do
I
all that?
can. I mean, it's hard because I'm in LA now and it's so far away.
Do they
But
have
whenever I
literary
can.
festivals there as well?
We do. There is the LA Times Festival of Books, which is going to be virtual this year. But I mean, I will just talk to anyone about books forever, as you can tell.
What?
I
Why
just
are
love.
you happier living over there? How long have you lived there?
I've been in the States for 11 years altogether,
Wow.
but I was in New York for 6, and I've been in LA for 5.
So it's your home, really, is it?
It is, yeah,
Your
for my sins, as I always say.
Well, but do you come back? I mean, I
Oh
mean, I
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, we've got to meet clearly,
Yes,
and
I
with
mean, obviously.
lockdown, I mean, seriously, and with the lockdown, I mean, we're doing our event online. I'm asking people on this to subscribe to. Would you actually, Lindsay, subscribe to our Quip YouTube, because we're developing the
Yes.
YouTube.
Oh my goodness, in a heartbeat.
Thank you. From which to stream the live event. I'm learning. Look, you know, I'm a comedian. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to run a prize, but we're learning all the tech, like your character Roz. But there has to be more. I mean, I think you're so amazing. I think that story. I mean, every conversation is fascinating. I'm winding it up only because we're running out of time, but I absolutely love. I've done. Oh, and do the shed. Oh, just tell us about the shed.
Roz is living in a shed. Roz comes back from America thinking she's going to have to move in with her parents and was being a bit sulky about it. She's like, oh, I have to live in my old bedroom and it's going to be awful. And then her parents say, well, actually, no, you're not. You're going to go and live in a shed in the garden because we need our privacy. So Roz has to live in a shed.
She takes it on the chin. She's kind of like quite accepting about the ludicrous. That's why it's ironic that she's and with all her childhood things. And it's the kind of book that once you're inside, you need to get to the end. And this is what, your 16th book?
Yes, I know. I don't have any kind of life. It's fine.
I understand that. The life of a writer is quite extreme. So do you get up in the morning and, Abigail said I did the shed living for a year post-university. Thanks, Abigail. Don't write a book about being in the shed because, of course, we all have to be individuals, as we just established. But do you write in the morning and go through?
I'm a nighttime person. At the minute, everything's off at the moment. Who knows what's going on? But I'm usually a nighttime. I will just start work in the afternoon and write all the way through. That's usually how I do it.
It's like a binge thing. And I know I shouldn't ask because we're not getting on to other things, but how is it being in America right now?
It's horrible. It's really terrible. We haven't left the house since March 15th. 13th. It was Friday the 13th. So we've done like supermarket and that's it. Yeah, we're California's a little bit ropey with infection rates, so we are being very serious with our lockdown.
Two books at the same time.
I should have.
Next one?
I am, yeah. I'm just about finished with the first draft of the next one. So
how long do you take to get over this, which I'm loving?
Usually I like to have a good couple of months headspace. This time I had to get started a little bit earlier, but it's been slower to write. Usually if I get that clear headspace, I can just barrel through the first draft. But because I haven't had as much headspace, it'll end up taking the same amount of time. It's so stupid. If I'd just given myself more of a break, I could have written faster.
That's another really, really important lesson, but it's a kind of obsession. I absolutely love your writing. I'm not a judge.
Thank you so much.
On the Quip. I put the thing together, but I don't judge because I couldn't. But it was such a revelation reading this. I would read more. I got to get to the end of it, but I think you're authentic, as somebody else was saying, particularly with witty narrative. You are totally authentic. That's why I love you. So in case you missed it, Lindsey Kelk's only been out a month.
Yes, it's out. It's there.
Lindsay, will you? Oh, I might see. I think I'm doing. You and I will be doing something.
Yes, we are. I believe. Yes, I know that. I did know that.
My homework on that. But also on Quip stuff. And so Laura has said, love the book. You're onto a winner.
Oh, thank you, Laura.
And I've been drinking. What time is it there?
It was only 11:30. It's only 11:30 on a Wednesday.
If you're on a cava, okay. Lindsay is absolutely amazing. Her narrative is witty. I agree. Agreed from Helen Margaret Ledger. So love you loads. See you soon.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so
writing.
much.
I love it.
I will, because it's literally my job.
It is literally your job, and rightly so. Lots of love to you. I'm pressing end.
Thank you
Keep
so
going.
much.
Cheer up.